This is a bit of a pre-intro to the Old Mam Tor Road, Shaking Mountain. There you can see the road going left to Chapel on the Frith, and I've just come from the top of Winnats Pass, but at some stage you had this other road snaking up Mam Tor. I'm just going to walk down onto it in a moment. This is the old turn off for the Mam Tor Road. It was an easier climb up rather than Winnats Pass. But look at the fog up there at the moment, and be very careful, that's a car that's come off the road. So this takes you down to the Blue John Cavern. It's just a boring road down here at the moment, and what I'll do is I'll pick up later with you. But you can park your car down here. There's no charging meters, but be careful what you leave in your car and how long you leave your car here. But you can see the top of Mam Tor there. See people walking up it on that ridge. But you can walk down this road to the bottom, then you can come back up when it's past, and that's a good walk in its own way, and come back round on yourself. So I've just come up Winnats Pass, and this is the Old Mam Tor Road. It's now blocked off. It's known as Shaking Mountain. So what I'll probably do is have a walk down here, and then I'll come back up Winnats Pass and walk it up Winnats Pass. It's beautiful scenery around here. We've got one of the Blue John caverns around here, just down there. Now when I went down places like Treak Cliff, we never wore helmets or anything like that. I don't know if it's now all health and safety down these places. You can see the terrific views around here. I think this road was still navigable in the 1970s, and then there's been landslip after landslip on Shaking Mountain until it's completely worn away. So it means you've only got the one route now up Winnats Pass. You get some glorious views from round here. I've just come up here and parked at the side of the road. It's extremely busy for a Christmas day. It's such a shame this road's shut down. You should start to see the views just here. And you can see the top of Mam Tor up there with the mist on top of it. What a splendid view. So when you get to the bottom of Winnats Pass, you can turn left and you come up the Old Mam Tor Road. So at this point the road's disappearing now. There you've got Mam Tor. Makes me wonder if that was ever quarried out. So the old road, as you can see now, has completely collapsed. Just here. So this is Old Road, but it's known as Shaking Mountain. But like I said, does anybody know if this was ever mined on this side? Whether this is what's created this sort of rift on here? I want to get down here without getting sludged up. I'll show you the splendid views as we start to come round. But just over here, something to always bear in mind is Hope Cement Works for your bearings wherever you're going in the Hope Valley. But just imagine cars used to come up and down here, one in one direction and one in the other. It sort of snaked its way up this side of Mam Tor, and just see it's completely crumbled away. Start to see a bit of the road here. But when we get further down, you'll actually see how much it's subsided. And when I get home, I'll put the old road name in. You can see it's quite a dip here. I can remember back in the 1980s coming here, or being at Castleton, and we could see cars coming up and down here. Whether they could get all the way up, I don't know, but back in the 80s or 70s, 80s, I think it was still passable with care. You can just see how much it's fallen away here. You can see the different thicknesses of the layers of it as well. Sort of a bit wavy here, isn't it, folks? I don't know what's over this ridge here now. Am I going to get some road? Yeah, I've got some road, but look at it. But this road really wound up this hill, as you can see. Didn't come straight up the hill. Now I don't know, Winnats Pass must be a real struggle in bad weather. And I don't know if this was an easier road to get up in bad weather, or whether people struggled. You can see how it snakes round. I'm sort of following what the road should be, and you can watch, and I think there's an old video somewhere showing footage from people coming up here back in the 70s. I think people all parked up here and came and walked up here, but you can still see the top of Mam Tor with the mist on it. Always be prepared round here that things can turn. It's a very mellow day today, but on the tops, peaks, it can really turn. But you can get up a walk across the top of there, and it's quite a nice walk round there and back down into Castleton over there, but always focusing on Hope Cement Works over there. You can just see how much the road's gone here. I was just talking to a couple, having a laugh about it. can see how thick the road was. I mean, you've got layer after layer of tarmac, then you've got some other stone, then another layer, and then the original. But you know, it collapsed in probably the 1970s onwards, and it must have been here for 100, 200 years when it hadn't been a problem. You can see more of the roads coming back now. So you can see how wide the road was once now, because we're getting the main width of the road. So I'm told it was the main road at one bit, but now all we've got is Winnats Pass. And I'm going to come back up Winnats Pass. But when you look at the pictures from the 1970s and you see people out here parked on this hill in the cars, there were absolutely hundreds of them. You've got footpaths all over the place where we are. Oh, that's for the farm there, Blue John, Mam Tor. You can see various different, you've got Ollins Cross up there. So if you go between Castleton and Edale, you find Ollins Cross up there. I think people had to walk from one place to another to work at mills and things like that. But there you can see how the road snaked round here and up there, but you can just see how much it's collapsed. But I've never completely walked down this before. I normally come right across that ridge up there and come right around back into Castleton. But seeing as it's Christmas Day, come to do something totally different. There you can see just how the road went round there, right round there and round here. But I never use maps when I come here. I know it quite well from Venture Scout days and from coming to Hollowford with the church, and I was out here for a week at Hollowford with British Steel when I was an apprentice, so I know this area extremely well. So it's very rare I'll get a map out. I'll go up top of Kinder Scout with no maps. That'll take you across to the A57. You see the road's a bit narrower here. See it's fallen away down there. I was just saying to that couple, 40 years of Tory and Labour government, this road. You've got to laugh about the government, don't matter who you elect. You get the same government every time. But you just wouldn't believe that a road's been up here and snaked all its way up. There you can really see the face of Mam Tor up there. You can see steam rising right over there. Well, it looks like steam, unless that's mist. That's what you've got to be careful about around this area. There's a totally different climate when you're in the Castleton bottom as opposed to when you get on the tops on Mam Tor or you get up Kinder Scout. If it's going to be a sunny day, I'll put my trainers on and t-shirt and shorts, but in weather like this you've got to be a bit more, take a bit more precaution. Certainly stick your boots on. and make sure you got some waterproofs, and nowadays communications as well. I think there's an app now that you can put on your phone, tell you exactly where you are, so if you ever got lost you could contact emergency services, but it's best not to put yourself in that position in the first place. But look at it up there, it's looks very unstable, doesn't it? So there you've got Mam Tor the problem. Stop the screen and have a look at it. So we're getting onto a decent part of the road again. Oh, looks like some sort of cave there. Looks a bit of a fault line up there. Look at the face of Mam Tor. It's quite a steep rise up that. A bit like the Whitby steps I've done a video on in the past. So we've got a bit of a bus turning point here, but you can park up here. I think you can park up here any time because I don't think there's any machines up here. I've just noticed something just there. I don't know if I can get down to that millstone. So just off here is a bit of a footpath. Let's just nip down to it. But you find these millstones all over the place. Just dumped from the past. So I don't know what's the point of this. A large circle, whether it's artwork or not, or whether it's some purpose. You've got a millstone in a metal thing, and then a ring around, so I don't know if you can see it, sorry, there it is. So you've got a ring all the way around here. Metal ring, and then that, so I don't know if this is artwork or whether there was actually an industrial purpose here. But look at that for a wall up there. You can see all down here this what looks like free parking because there's nowhere to pay, but don't leave your car here after dark. There's always plenty of people around when it's light, but I wouldn't advise leaving it around here in dark. But like I said, this is an absolute must one. Take your bearings from Hope. Cement works And that's what I learnt. Learn to map read and get bearings from maps, and then you're on your way. So looking at these ridges, look at that tree right up there, and then I don't know if one of these is Lucille and Winhill. I think there was a bet between a farmer which was taller Lucille or Winhill. I don't know which one's which, but I know that the Winhill, I think in the end wasn't as tall as Lucille, but that's where it all came from. I think with modern day measuring equipment they found out that Lucille was actually higher than Winhill. But don't quote me on it, but I think that is the fact on it. But it's so weird, that looks like somebody's actually done that to make it taller. That's what it looks like to me. But you've got a few more up there, like ridges up there. So just up here we've got Treak Cliff Cabin, Blue John Mine. Just up those steep steps. Can't remember it ever being that steep, but it is. That's Treak Cliff Cabin, if I pronounced it right. Now, like I said, my family took me down there. I think I've been down there a couple of times. Bit low in places, but most of it's not low. And we didn't wear helmets in those days. But anything's possible nowadays. And I bet the cost is a lot more expensive now. But Blue John isn't cheap. It's pretty expensive. So I wonder if you keep the price inflated by not actually digging it, because when you go down, say, Treak Cliff, you can go off at certain points and it's, you know, quite precarious, because that's where they dig off the seams of Blue John. Beautiful, isn't it? Must be about 12 degrees today on Christmas Day. It's probably about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I wonder what it was. This is Treak Cliff Cabin. It says here parking for visitors only, but this must be an easy path up to it. Yeah, it is. That's what I was thinking. I didn't think we ever went up that really steep incline. So you can see this easier route up to it, take you up to Treak Cliff. But it looks like another, I don't know if that's part of the same mine up there. There's another building just up there as well. But I wonder what the cost of it is nowadays. I just don't know how people can, with kids nowadays, you know what the cost of everything is. I just don't know how people manage it. So you can find out the prices. It's open all year from 10 o'clock. Carols by candlelight. That's a new one. You can see some of the seams there. It must be worth a fortune, Blue John. I'm still making my way down the Old Mam Tor Road. Just over there you can see the sunlight shining through. It's really quirky in places. I think it's got a bit of a microclimate, but we're nearly down to the junction for Winnats Pass, and when I get down there I'll wind the video up. So if I carried on down this road, I come to the fork for Winnats Pass, turn right and go up Winnats Pass. But what I'm going to do is stop the video here. I ask you to like the video, follow the channel and click on notifications for new videos in the future. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Winnats Pass from here as a separate video, and that's where Speedwell Cabin is. And that's looking back up, you can see Treak Cliff or Treak Cliff or whatever you want to call it. Cabin up there. There's even a walk up there. You can see path up and it then carries on up. Just walks all over the place around here. It's absolutely magical.